Hey everybody, this is Doug with Artfully Rogue, and I am going to show you how I take this project and go from a design to delivery. So every project that I work on with a client usually starts right here. I use a program called SketchUp, and over the years I've found that I've gotten a little bit better at this thing. So I can get a little bit quicker with it. Now I've sped up this aspect of the video so that it's not so drawn out. But what this allows me to do is see in real time what the product will actually look like, and I can put dimensions to it so that everything looks equal or it looks balanced. You can add textures, you can actually add different types of colors to this thing, or you can quickly change kind of the look of the overall design. Once I have this design complete, then I'll send it over to the client. They can take a look at it, and then I can come back and make changes as necessary. So at first, I did all of the doors with the mesh, but then they wanted wood on the outside doors. And then we've talked about handles and adding different size handles and different style handles. So we're going to put metal up on the cabinet for the drawers, and then on the actual doors themselves we'll put some little tiny handles there that aren't too obtrusive, but you can still open and close the doors. So that's SketchUp. So we're going to jump ahead, and I'm going to show you, this is now, I would call the skeleton of the project. So the majority of the framework is done out of an 1.5 by 1.5 angle, and because they're looking for an industrial look, I wanted to use hot rolled steel because it has that mill scale look. Now, as you can see in some of these areas where I have ground down the weld, we're going to come back with gun bluing and add that to the cleaned metal to kind of help blend that in to the mill scale. Now when I buy my hinges, I buy them in lengths of about 6 feet, and I cut them to size. And so that's what we've done here. We've made some 1.5 inch long hinges, and that's what's gone on the doors. On the back, we're going to use a 20 gauge sheet steel. Now we're leaving the back and the top off so we can have easy access into the cabinet. And for the doors, we're using an 1.5 inch angle because we're going to use an inset piece of wood, because this is going to have a combination of steel and wood. So now here Robin is actually starting to fit the wood into the cabinets. Now I have to say, this is probably the most expensive wood that I have ever really worked with on a project. The client wanted teak, and for 2 pieces of teak, one was 6 feet tall by 6 inches wide, the other was 4 feet tall by 8 inches wide. That cost $260 for the teak. So what we did is we took the 8 inch wide teak, we cut those into 2 foot lengths, and then we actually split the wood right down the center because it was 1 inch thick, and we made 2 1/2 inch pieces, and that's what's going to be fitting in those doors. Now I'm also using a stainless mesh to create the mesh look. Now I could have used a mild steel, but I don't want it to rust in the future, and I kind of like the opposition of the mill scale and the shiny mesh. A second project with the same client is we're building a small tower. So it's the same style where we're using the 1.5 inch angle. We're also using 20 gauge sheet steel to make the bases and things of that nature. So this is my son Skylar welding in the bottom plate for the bottom of the tower. And a lot of times we're just using tack welds. I'm using the design of a tack weld as part of the aesthetics. We could easily have welded the entire thing, ground down the entire thing, but we are wanting those tack welds to be part of the design. So now Robin's working on the drawers, and we made the interior of the drawers out of a birch plywood, and then we're facing them with the teak. That way we still have a nice high quality look, but it's the teak front that really is going to matter. Starting to come together now. As you can see, you have the small hinges. You got the tower there with the top doors open. Now, I do have to say that majority of the work that I do here in the shop is actually shipped out. Maybe 10% of what we do in the shop is here locally. This is here local, so we won't have to build any crates to ship out. If you're interested in how we build our crates when we ship things out, you can go ahead and click on this card up above and it'll take you to a video that shows you how to crate up your products. Now here Sky's actually welding one of the handles, and we made a jig so all of them are the same. We'll actually take that same jig and put that over the drawers so that they also fit the handles into place. So now this is the finished product. We put the gun bluing on, we've given it a total clear coat, and we're getting close to delivery on these products. All right, so here you have Robin and Skylar out there wrapping up the cabinet. Now again, this is local, so we don't have to build a crate, but we do want to protect it from travel. It's going to go in the back of the truck, and we're going to make sure that we have packing blankets around it, but we don't want the drawers of the cabinets to open up and to get dinged. So yeah, just take some shrink wrap, wrap it around the product, and then we'll get those loaded here in just a little bit. And of course, we're making Sky go in circles because he's the young guy here in the shop. Usually I grab my trailer, but because these objects are kind of small, we're just going to go ahead and load them into the back of the truck. Now, don't be fooled. These things weigh a ton. And if I had to put a weight on it, I would probably say 350 easily. Now, once we get it in the truck, I'm going to go ahead and speed this part up. We're going to go ahead and put packing blankets on it, get it all strapped down, and then we're going to head over to the client's house where we can get these unloaded and get them put in place. Here is the finished product at the client's house. As you can see, the cabinet's in place, the tower's in place. And just the other day, the client actually sent me pictures with all of her stuff now on the cabinet and in the tower. And she was super happy. It was actually really nice to be able to take the products to the client and see the result of how they feel about the products you just made. That's always kind of a nice finish to the product build.
Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. It is greatly appreciated. If you have not already subscribed, please do so. It really helps my YouTube algorithm. And if you'd like to leave some comments, do so down below. Hit that bell icon as well. That way you get notified for the next videos that I have coming out here on this channel. And a huge shout out to my Patreon supporters, Barry and Marlene Rush, Funkiss Artistic Creations, John Leddington, and Judy Clothier. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll see everyone in the next video.